ॐ तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः। I will read yesterday's what we have discussed. Master, there are two signs of knowledge. First, an unshakable buddhi. No matter how many sorrows, afflictions, dangers and obstacles one may be faced with, one's mind does not undergo any change. It is like blacksmith's anvil, which receives constant blows from the hammer and still remains unshaken. And the second, manliness, very strong grit. If lust and anger injure a man, he must renounce them once for all. If a tortoise once tucks its limbs, it does not put them out again, though it may be cut into 4 pieces. To Thakur Dada and others, there are two kinds of renunciation, intense and feeble. Feeble renunciation is a slow process. One moves in a slow rhythm. Intense renunciation is like the sharp edge of a razor. It cuts the bondage of Maya easily and at once. Up to this we had read. One farmer labors for days to bring water from the lake to his field. But his efforts are futile because he has no grit. Another farmer, after laboring for 2 or 3 days, takes a hoe and says, I will bring water into my field today, and not till then I will go home. What is the difference you see? 2 types of farmers. There is a lake, and from the lake they have to get the water to the field for crops to grow. Now, for that purpose, he starts early in the morning. Usually in India, morning they go with the plows to the field to plow. All the works. With the dawn, they are ready for work. So morning they go and start digging. Little laziness means they go an hour later. Slowly they will pick up their tools and all that, they go and keep there, sit for a few minutes, again begin. And a little far they go, then they feel, oh, enough for today. They go back. Sometimes till the evening somehow little they do and go. But other farmers, they begin, they run to the field early in the morning and begin. They toil, their sweat will be falling down. They don't stop. If they stop, it is just for a moment to drink water or to change the tools or anything. They continue to work till the evening. When dusk no more they can do, they start walking back. Those will finish very fast. These people who can finish within a week, they take a month, 4 times the time. So how much efforts, even in sadhana, spiritual life, if we struggle, sincerely struggle without wasting time, giving as much time we are giving for the family and other occupations, all the time, apart from that, how much time we are wasting, how many times we are working, how many hours we are working in the office, how many hours we are spending in spiritual practices, how many, just unbroken thought of divine, not to talk, not to waste time. Just I am going somewhere, instead of I am going in a car, instead of going and simply thinking this and that, just a bhajan or a lecture on spiritual life, just put on. That much of journey time is saved, and whole thing is giving you a light from within. So this becomes an important part. Waste not the time, utilize the time, convert it into a sadhana. If you are eating food, if you take the name of God and eat mentally within yourself and be one with all, smiling and talking a little outwardly, inside that repetition of God's name is going on, then the whole act of eating and sitting there becomes a yajna, a constant sacrifice unto God. God, look at me, how am I spending every moment? I'm in your company all the time. That kind of. So the intense sadhana is unbroken thought of divine. Smarana. Smarana is common for all spiritual practices. Dhyana means you have to do the smarana. Puja means you have to, constant remembrance is called smarana. You have to do the constant remembrance, smarana, for japa, for puja, whatever you do, even service you are going to give, there must be constant remembrance of God. Trying to see God in man, we are serving Shiva Jnane Jiva Seva. So, smarana is common. In our early days, in our childhood days, everything was centered around God. Life was going, getting up early in the morning, taking the name of God. They sit, looking at the picture of God. They keep their feet on the floor and stand up. Go wash their feet, singing some slokas, verses from some scriptures. Whole thing. And anything, God is there. From childhood, the children are taught to feel the living presence of God at home. While before taking food, have you offered to God? Have you offered to God? The offering is over. Naivedya is over. Shall we have food? First it will be given to God. Similarly, all activities go around God in the houses. And when you sit, the most important part we see is when they make mistake, they go and bow down to shrine. Oh, such and such mistake happened from me, my Lord. Excuse me, see that it doesn't affect anybody. Then, if a child makes a mistake, then also they ask a child, go and tell sorry to God and come. how that relationship, the faith, the two important things is so slowly they are introducing the faith. Then they are making the contact with divine, unbroken divine. Faith is one important for everything to go to God. Anything happens, first thing you have to remember God. How they introduce. And God has decided, God is looking at me, God is looking at me. I can't hide and do anything like that. Just like our own inner conscience doesn't allow us, any mistake I do, nobody may be knowing, my heart knows. So there the God is sitting, looking at me. So the children are taught in such a way, you may hide and do anything, there is God looking at you. So now and then they take the habit of telling sorry for everything to God, telling thanks to God for everything that is good and great. He gets something he wanted, a play article or a new shirt. He goes and thanks God. First thing when wearing clothes, new clothes come, they go and keep at the feet of God in the shrine, bow down, take it and wear as if God is giving them. The parents do not come into picture. They make the God presenting. When they bring the salary at home, from ancient time, from our early birth times, in childhood we have seen father coming with a packet of the monthly salary. First thing straight away goes and keeps at the feet of God and bows down, as if God has appointed him and he is just an agent like. It is his, God's earning, I am giving God to God as if. He is just a servant like. So that the ego, this, that doesn't disappear. I am looking after my family, that ego also doesn't come. God is looking after you all. And also, he will be able to sincerely work in the office there, totally, because he is working on behalf of God. He takes the earnings and deposits there at the feet of God. So, God is made always center of the life. We have to slowly cultivate these things, make children cultivate so that they walk on the Sanmarga, the path to evolutionary path. It makes them evolve to higher levels. So here Sri Ramakrishna is telling about the farmers. I will bring water into, how the grit will be there. I will bring the water into my field today, and not till then I will go home. In sadhana also, last stages as they come, with all struggle to transcend nature is extremely difficult, almost impossible. We cannot destroy. At the same time, to transcend and go beyond also, very difficult. It is just like I am going from first standard to second standard. I have to pass that first standard. Then I go to second standard. This crossing over also, knowledge getting is impossible without studies and without, to transcend, to finish the course and go to the second. It needs lot of toiling. Like that, to do the sadhana also, last exhausted, he surrenders. No, I can't, you have to. Then he gives his whole to that. Yes, no more. Now when Buddha struggles for years and years, decades and decades, going here and there, not because of his any necessity, looking at the suffering of mankind, just looks at the dead body. He has never known what is death. He is married, having a child. He has never known what is death. He was kept in such a way that suffering is not known to him. And second thing he sees is old man walking with tottering, with a stick. Then the third man he sees is a sick person, coughing and vomiting. Then he sees a sadhu last sitting calmly without any possession under a tree, joyfully enjoying. Why this suffering? Why that joy? Where is the path? There he takes, not seeing his suffering, but suffering of the mankind, others. He is a prince, not wanting anything. Whatever he needs is within his possession. Yet, the suffering of mankind melts his heart. He says, I have to find out a way to go beyond. I must show a path. Is there a possibility to go beyond this nature which is constantly inflicting small pleasures and lot of suffering and keeping in the prison house of bondage? Can we go beyond? Go struggles. Each person who hears to be enlightened, to be a guru, he goes and struggles for years and years under each guru, gets tired and exhausted. Then under the Bodhi tree, last he takes a vow. I will not get up from this seat till I get enlightenment. That last decision. Ihasane shushyatu me shariram aprapya bodhim bahu kalpa durlabham. One kalpa is 1,000 Mahayugas. One Mahayuga is 4 yugas together. Treta, Dwapara, Satya, Treta, Dwapara, Kali Yuga. 4 yugas together is one. Millions and millions of years it takes. And the whole thing, kalpa, unimaginable dimension. By that 1,000 times 1,000 pralayas take place. Just like we sleep and wake up every day is Yugantara. And how the whole thing, Mahayuga, all these, so many civilizations come and go, so many times the whole universe dissolves and reappears to form a kalpa. And struggling that much also, a man doesn't get the enlightenment that I must get here. Bahu janma bhava kalpa durlabham. Very difficult to get kalpas together, eras together. So with that who is last sitting, and then there he gets the enlightenment. So like that, in sadhana also, we have to, as much as possible, 2 things we have to practice in our spiritual life is constant remembrance of God and to feel the living presence of God at all times. Constant remembrance. Remembrance doesn't, I'm remembering God, I'm feeling His living presence. That aspect makes us slowly evolve. I'm holding something that is truth, that is unchanging reality. The thought of God is I am clinging to something. All things are appearance and disappearance. Friends come, we part, we get married, we separate and go away. Children are formed, we separate and go. All things that come together have to separate, which is joined together has to dissociate. All things which has birth must die. They go together. So here we see last we'll be left alone. To know who am I? Why did these people come in my life? Why did they part and go away forever? Oh, what is this exactly? We don't feel till we are able to totally, when we are free from all desires, anybody coming, anybody going, not related to me, never seen, come and meet and go. While going we see, oh, why did he come? Why did he go away? That going away is most painful. When people come we don't feel, when they part we feel. So that, oh, everything is just a passing show, passing show, passing show. I want eternal. I want unchanging. That longing keeps the spirit. So this person who has grit will say, I will bring water into my field today, and till then I will not go home. He puts aside all thoughts of his bath and his meal. He labors whole day and feels great joy when in the evening he finds water entering his field with murmuring sound. Then he goes home and says to his wife, now give me some oil, I shall take my bath. After finishing bath, his meal, he lies down to sleep with a peaceful mind. Even in sadhana, just it takes years and years of struggle. The purification is going on, purification going on. No progress is seen. In purificatory process, you will not see a progress. You will see time is going, life is going. Where am I making mistake? Will not know. There is no mistake, but cleaning process takes long time. Revered Bajnanji Maharaj used to tell, minimum 12 years it takes for spiritual awakening. Even a noble soul has come into the life and taken a human body. Because by the time he begins his spiritual life, it is quite late. After 18, 19s, 20s, he starts thinking of doing spiritual practice with all his previous life's tendencies in spiritual path. So suppose we have led a good life, striving for realization of God in previous life. We could not do, and we could not finish our task, and body falls off. This life, we come into existence again. We will be normal children like all others. Because nature alone is bringing up. As we are growing, our old vasanas start coming up. Those who are worldly people will become suddenly all worldliness towards the enjoyment, towards possession. They start running. Bad habits, this, that, whatever they have cultivated, that start. Similarly, sadhaka also, as he grows, slowly with the understanding of the world, the counteracting forces are also awaken. They will be seeing enjoyments there, They will be seeing the suffering also, standing behind it. The suffering is waiting for the person to put hand on the enjoyment. Once it catches, it doesn't allow to go back. It pulls any enjoyment. More than once we catch, it has already caught us. And again it pulls. I need not propel, I need not put energy, I need not create my own craving. It pulls because I have caught it once. And then very difficult to come out. Life goes off. Oh, slowly after the middle age, this starts. But the tendencies remain as it is. Because habits do not go, memory starts failing. But then the time is gone. Similarly, these people who have led a good life, they also get the similar opportunity till about 12-13 years. They grow like all other children, same way. A worldly person with worldly samskara, a boy with worldly samskaras and a boy with spiritual tendencies, we don't find any much difference till they cross 12, 13, 14. 12, 13, 14 is the transition period. Then slowly, just like they turn towards the enjoyment, they start turning to God. And then they understand, now they start analyzing good and bad, right and wrong. By that time, they would have acquired a few tendencies or worldly tendencies. Small things like food, tasty food, moving around freely, all this, to counteract and begin the spiritual life. It has already, some part of life is gone. Even if they clear all their doubts and start doing spiritual practices, it will be past 20. Almost 1/4 life is gone. So that they start late. So all this, now the clearance of the past tendencies, it takes some time. So goes the few more years of many more years in purification. A sincere sadhaka will get spiritual light within 3 years. Spiritual awakening must be there day and night, wholeheartedly, if he sacrifices. Otherwise, normal with all things going on, without getting involved in anywhere, if he leads a life, within 12 to 15 years, he must get a spiritual awakening. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.